Whatever may be your background or beliefs, I shall endeavor to serve you with loyalty, respect, and love.
On the news tonight, it's the dawn of a new era for Britain as Prince Charles III ascends the throne as king.
The death of Queen Elizabeth will not diminish the quality of Queen Elizabeth's school.
With the exit of Britain's longest ruling monarch, correspondents look at indelible legacies and relationship with the African continent.
This committee will provide our nation the opportunity to be bold, cooperative, and innovative to deliver on our most important objectives.
Also tonight, President Buhari inaugurates Presidential Committee on National Economy, tasks members on improved tax revenue generation. Hello and thanks for joining us on the Network News. I am Elizabeth Omori. I'm not reading alone. Adiola Komi Akere joins us from the city of Lagos. You can start watching this newscast live on our website nta.ng/live and other active social media platforms displayed on the screen. King Charles III has taken over the role he was born to perform after the demise of his 96-year-old mother. Adebola Brooksland in this report takes a look at the prince turned king at age 73.
For his entire life, King Charles has been preparing for the crown. And now, at age 73, that moment has finally arrived, unlike Edward IV and Henry VIII, who became kings at younger ages. In 1970, he became the first British royal to earn a university degree and the first to grow up in the ever-intensifying glare of the media. Unlike his mother, who refused to publicly discuss her views, Charles has delivered speeches and written articles on issues close to his heart, such as climate change, green energy, and alternative medicine. His ascension to the throne, analysts say, is likely to fuel debates about the future of Britain's largely ceremonial monarchy. It is expected that Charles will be officially proclaimed king on Saturday. This will happen at St. James's Palace in London, in front of a ceremonial body known as the Ascension Council. More than 700 people are entitled in theory to attend, but given the short notice, the actual number is likely to be far fewer. At the last Ascension Council in 1952, about 200 attended. King Charles III has since left Bamura for London and to address the nation later. In the meantime, outside palaces and churches, people are leaving flowers and personal tributes. There was a 96 ceremonial gun salutes in Westminster Abbey, St. Paul's Cathedral, Windsor, and other parts of the UK in honor of the late Queen. King Charles has said he intends to reduce the number of working royals, cut expenses, and better represents modern Britain. Adebola Brooksland, NTA News.
73-year-old monarch King Charles III has promised to uphold the constitutional principle at the heart of the United Kingdom. King Charles said this in his maiden address at the world as the world mourns Queen Elizabeth II.
And wherever you may live in the United Kingdom, or in the realms and territories across the world, and whatever may be your background or beliefs, I shall endeavor to serve you with loyalty, respect, and love, as I have throughout my life.
A service has been held across the United Kingdom in honor of the late Queen. The world mourns the demise of Queen Elizabeth II of the United Kingdom, described as one of the most influential persons whose reign made impact on the African continent, Nigeria inclusive. In this report, Obiageli Ugwokwe takes a look at the late Queen's long-standing relationship with Africa.
Queen Elizabeth II visited more than 20 countries in Africa, including Nigeria, which she visited twice, developing a close relationship with the continent and her people. The Queen first visited Africa as a princess. Her 21st birthday speech was given from South Africa, which demonstrated her warm relationship with Nelson Mandela. She reportedly disagreed with Prime Minister Thatcher, who refused to impose sanctions over apartheid. The princess was also in Kenya when her father, King George VI, died. Early in her reign, many British colonies declared independence, including several African nations. Ghana was the first in sub-Saharan Africa to gain independence. During the British rule of Nigeria, Queen Elizabeth served as a monarch until the end of the Republic in 1963. Her Majesty's first visit to Nigeria was in 1956 as part of her royal tour to Commonwealth countries. From Lagos, she traveled to northern Nigeria where she visited the Sultan of Sokoto. The Queen also paid a visit to Kano, Kaduna, Enugu, and Jos. The late monarch's second visit was in 2003 during the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting.
I have also been struck by the many examples of Commonwealth countries inviting the association to help them constructively to resolve political problems and to meet the challenges of development. That is the most eloquent testimony possible to the confidence which members have in the organization.
Former President Olusegun Obasanjo hosted the event in Abuja. Several African leaders and influential personalities have described Her Majesty as an extraordinary and world-renowned public figure who lived a remarkable life. Obiageli Ugwokwe, NTA News.
Meanwhile, members of the UK Parliament in the House of Commons are paying glowing tributes to the late Queen. Omenge Fireface reports that Prime Minister Liz Truss led other MPs to pay respect to the late British monarch at a session.
I invite the House to rise and observe a minute's silence in memory.
Proceedings at the special session of the House of Commons began with a minute of silence in honor of Her Majesty, the late Queen. Prime Minister Liz Truss led members of Parliament to pay glowing tributes to a Queen considered as the rock on which modern Britain was built.
She carried out thousands of engagements. She took a red box every day. She gave her assent to countless pieces of legislation and was at the heart of our national life.
Queen Elizabeth asked the nation to pray, and I quote, that God may give me wisdom and strength to carry out the solemn promises I shall be making, and that I may faithfully serve Him and you all the days of my life. She certainly fulfilled her promises.
The late Queen is remembered by members of the UK Parliament as an encouraging leader, radiating British values.
Across the nations of the world and for so many people, meeting Queen Elizabeth simply made their day, and for many will be the memory of their life.
She was as radiant and as knowledgeable and as fascinated by politics as ever I can remember, and as wise in her advice as anyone I know, if not wiser.
MPs remember their late Queen as a champion of democracy around the world, a great monarch who was also a mother.
May God rest her soul, and may God save the King.
Omongiye Fineface, NTA News.
Similarly, President Muhammad Buhari commiserates with the British royal family over the demise of Queen Elizabeth II, the only British sovereign known to 90% of our population. In a statement, President Buhari said his thoughts are with the royal family, the people of the United Kingdom, and the entire Commonwealth as Nigeria joins the entire world in mourning her loss. The story of modern Nigeria would never be complete without a chapter on Queen Elizabeth II, a towering global personality and an outstanding leader. She dedicated her life to making our nation, the Commonwealth, and the entire world a better place. The President welcomes Your Majesty's ascension to the throne. In line with tradition and praise, the reign of King Charles III witnessed the continuing robust and sisterly relations between the nations. And the federal government has directed that all flags in Nigeria and missions abroad be flown half-mast. In a statement by the Minister of Interior, Ralph Arebishola, this is in honor of the late Queen Elizabeth II. The death of Queen Elizabeth II continues to elicit reactions and tributes for 7 decades. She unshakably committed to the ritual of her role and its epic social and economic changes. Foreign desk correspondent Abdul Salam Jibril in this special report takes a look at her life and legacies.
London Bridge is down. The code word for Queen Elizabeth II's death echoed around the world on Thursday, 8 September 2022. President Muhammadu Buhari, along with other world leaders, has been paying tributes to the Queen, who died at the age of 96.
Lagos, the capital of Nigeria, prepares to give the welcome of its life to Queen Elizabeth II.
Recalls that she visited Nigeria twice, in 1953, 3 years after her coronation, and in 2003. In Britain, people gathered to lay flowers and pay tributes to the Queen. At the British High Commission here in the Federal Capital Territory, the British flag is flying at half-mast in commemoration with the death of Queen Elizabeth II. Upon assumption of the throne from 6 February 1952 until her death in 2022, the Queen saw 14 prime ministers come and go during her reign and had just appointed a 15th days before her death.
The Queen has left a lot of legacy, principally one, her capacity to have united the Commonwealth as a very, very strong voice in the international community. The Commonwealth was used as a tool to keep a sit-tight despotic regime in Africa in check. So all these are landmark achievements that anybody can credit to the Queen.
I declare before you all that my whole life, whether it be long or short.
During her reign, she faced occasional sentiments and media criticism of her family, particularly after the breakdowns of her children's marriages and the death of her former daughter-in-law, Diana, Princess of Wales, in 1997. However, support for the monarchy in the United Kingdom remained consistently high, as did her personal popularity. The moment the Queen died, the throne passed immediately and without ceremony to the heir, Charles, the former Prince of Wales. He shall be known as King Charles III. Abdul Salam Jibril, NTA News.
As the world mourns the exit of a royalty and an icon, Queen Elizabeth Alexandra II, are indelible marks on the sands of time cut across globally. One of such is the establishment of Queen Elizabeth School in Ilorin, Kwara State, Nigeria. Olajide Bello examines the legacies of the Queen Mother on products of the school.
The establishment of Queen Elizabeth School Ilorin on May 24, 1956 by the Northern Region government under the leadership of late Premier of the region, Sir Ahmadu Bello, was a response for a special college that would improve girl-child education. At inception, the idea was for Queen Elizabeth School Ilorin, one of the surviving British legacies, to be the best in the country for the education and moral training of the girl child. That dream, which was envisaged to liberate the engendered girl child, later birthed the famous and iconic institution that has produced some of the best female brains in the country.
One of the values we acquired while in Queen's School was to live together harmoniously, irrespective of our cultural differences, and religious differences.
From the era of its pioneer principal to the present era of Siddiqat Lawal, recounted with nostalgia the values of being a queen.
One of the values that I cherish most is that when we were here as students, there was a very high sense of discipline.
Many of them are scattered across the nooks and crannies of the world, excelling in their various fields of endeavor.
Queen School of the North, we have come from near and far. With all the teachers and the principals continue to go by the principles we were taught, then I know that the death of Queen Elizabeth will not diminish the quality of Queen Elizabeth's school.
The roll call of these Amazons include former First Lady of Nigeria and one-time Chief Judge of Niger State, Justice Fatih Lami Abubakar, First Female President of the Court of Appeal, Justice Zainab Bakachua, First Vice Chancellor, University of Abuja, Dr. Laraba Gambo, Senator Kairat Gwadabe, and the first female presidential aspirant, Sarah Jibril, and the list goes on and on. Though Queen Elizabeth is no more, her legacies will linger for a long time. Olajide Bello, NTA News.
Thank you for that report, Chidi. You're watching the Network News on NTA. Time now to take a break. When we return, experts will set the conversation on the legacies of the late Queen of England. Stay with us. You're watching the Network News on NTA. Still on the demise of the Queen, we are now being joined by Zoom, Dr. Elima Ezeani, a law academic and public analyst based in Aberdeen, Scotland, and Dr. Mukhtar Iman, Dean Faculty of Communications, Management and Social Sciences, Gombe, University of Gombe. Dr. Elima and Dr. Iman, thank you so much for joining us on the news.
Thank you.
All right, I would like to start with Dr. Elima. I understand that Aberdeen is a short distance from Balmoral, where the Queen passed. What is the mood like over there?
Well, it's first of all, again, thank you very much for having me on the program. It's a very somber mood, I would say. It's not just sad, but people have, come to. It's almost as if we've all come to the end of something. The Queen has been so much a part of our lives, and although she was 96, she was frail, yes, but we didn't expect her to go so soon, especially as we had just seen her on Tuesday appointing our new Prime Minister, Liz Truss. So it was, like having a famous celebrity passing away, but that famous celebrity is a matriarch and also someone that you respect so much. So the mood is somber, but we do understand that it was coming. So we were not completely unprepared.
All right, Dr. Iman, what part of the legacy of the Queen as the head of the Commonwealth would you speak to regarding the African continent?
Thank you very much. By the way, it's Imam, please, and it's resource bursting. Thank you. First and foremost, I'd like to join the rest of the world in extending my condolence to the bereaved family. A family that just about a period of a year ago lost its patriarch and has again lost its matriarch, a solid pillar of that home. And not just of the immediate family, but for the rest of the world, the entire globe, in fact, as has been seen in her demise and the way she's been eulogized and celebrated all across the globe. Her role in the Commonwealth was very crucial. Of course, she was, as a matter of fact, the pillar of the Commonwealth, and that basically not just ceremonially placing her as the head of state of all the countries where all the sovereign states she oversaw, 34 of them were reduced to about 14 until her demise. But then in the fact that her demeanor, her soft-spoken nature, her approach or diplomatic approach to addressing issues of conflict amongst member states within the Commonwealth, of ensuring that girl-child education, women's rights, and so on and so forth are pursued to the letter, of ensuring that discipline is instilled, the value systems are returned back to families, and so on and so forth. So for all of this, she has made a great mark, not just in Africa, but across the world. She has been able to prove herself as a leader, as an icon, as somebody who cherishes family values. Of course, the family has had its ups and downs, but then she has been able to, using her position, to ensure that her family first and foremost remained united, indivisible. She also reflected that in the indivisibility of the United Kingdom, even though, of course, in 2020, with the exit of the United Kingdom from the EU, it almost arose the tension of Scotland trying to break away. But then, she has done so well. Okay. She has left a remarkable mark on us.
All right, Dr. Elima, you live in Aberdeen. Could you tell us what would be the impact of her demise on the social and political activities in the United Kingdom? What do you foresee?
Well, that's a very intriguing question. Well, because interestingly, she died in Scotland, and she had come over here on holiday, and we knew she was not feeling too good. She had mobility issues, but like I said earlier, we weren't expecting that she would die. Now, at the moment, we are experiencing a cost of living crisis. We've had quite a number of strikes across many sectors, and we are suffering directly, as perhaps you also are in Nigeria, the costs of the war or the invasion of Ukraine, and we have very high energy rates. So when the new Prime Minister was appointed, her first brief really was to tackle the cost of living and the energy crisis, but then the Queen has just died. So we know there's a shift. For the next 10 days, I think that most people would be reflecting on the Queen, what is going to be the future. King Charles III has already made his intentions clear to continue what his mother has started, her life of service, her desire for unity, and that includes unity of all the nations in the United Kingdom. And on the political side of it, I guess we can say that whatever divides the nations of the United Kingdom, at this point, we really have to focus, and I think the entire country really is focused on the Queen and on respecting her, on mourning her, and on the future monarch that we have. But I don't think that it is going to be too much of a difference. King Charles III has been in line for quite a long time, so he knows what to do, and I expect that he will want to mainly maintain that unity of the United Kingdom. And I think that any cost of living crisis and all that, inflation, recession, all those threats will still be faced. But I think at the present moment, everything really has come to some kind of a point.
All right. I'd like to come in and talk to Dr. Imam. Imam, please, I would like to know, what do you think should be the priority of the new king, considering the challenges of the present days? Dr. Imam.
Well, the good thing is, in his address, we heard what King Charles III said. He ruled out some of the things that he hopes or he aspires to do, which is, of course, obviously continuing his mother's legacy, ensuring the unity of the family, ensuring that the values of the family is extended beyond the frontiers of the United Kingdom to the rest of the world. But the good thing is that, to answer your question, is the fact that the king is basically bringing some kind of paradigm shift. And what I mean by that is that it appears that the king is in tune with current happenings and realities, not just within the United Kingdom, but across the world. And that is evident in in his remark, where he talked about cutting down the number of staffing in the palace to meet modern realities, to ensure that they cut spending, to ensure that all of these resources are thrown into other things. For example, he also talked about reducing cost of spending. A lot of these things, it appears that some kind of radical paradigm shift is beginning to surface, or might begin to surface or unfold in the palace. And these are some of the things that realities that are hitting the royal family today, to ensure that resources are thrown into other things.
Thank you so much for your thoughts. And Dr. Elima, thank you very much for sharing your thoughts with us. Thank you so much. Governor Muhammadu Inuwa Yahya has expressed formal appreciation to President Muhammadu Buhari for enhanced federal presence in Gombe State, describing recent presidential interventions as critical towards achieving sustainable economic development. The governor stated this while briefing journalists after an audience with President Muhammadu Buhari, who also received Governor David Umahi of Ebonyi State. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
Governor Muhammadu Inuwa Yahya was in the State House to say thank you to the President for, amongst others, approving the takeover of Gombe Airport by the federal government, the expansion of the Gombe Regional Water Supply Project, and the construction of a critical road infrastructure project linking Gombe and Bauchi states by the Northeast Development Commission.
That road equally links with Yobe and eventually ends in Borno State. So that means we have a thoroughfare through all our states, and specifically in Gombe State. The award of that contract will help in providing access, which means more prosperity to the people. But above all, the most important development is the takeover of the Gombe Airport by the federal government. It means there will be more facilities, more resources, and there will be more proper management so that economic activity will be enhanced.
Discussions with the President also centered on political developments in the state and ways of sustaining the prevailing peace enterprise in Gombe, having been largely insulated from the security challenges in the Northeast sub-region.
And I think very soon you'll see germane, results coming out of our discussions. What we are doing to enhance security is to encourage people and encourage connectivity. This government alone is investing in developing 100 kilometers of road networks. We call it Network 1100 in all the 11 local governments of Gombe State. So connectivity is helping in security, is helping in economic prosperity, and is helping in providing welfare to the majority of the people. But above all, what we are doing, especially in facing the future, is the provision of that industrial park. By December, inshallah, we shall finish the first phase of 364 hectares with all the infrastructure needed for the industries to thrive. And that is close to the power base of the Dadonko Dam, which is generating 40 megawatts of electricity.
Governor Inuwa Yahya, who is expected to coordinate the APC presidential campaigns in the Northeast, expressed absolute confidence in the ability of the governing party to win more states in the zone and indeed retain the presidency. A similar optimism was expressed in respect of the Southeast sub-region by the governor of Ebonyi State, David Umahi, who was also granted audience by the president.
The structure and the spread of APC is such that victory is assured, and I can assure you that some of the disagreements in some states are going to be resolved. Mechanism has been put in place by Mr. President, the candidate of the party, his vice, and then the national chairman and the leadership of the party, to sort out those differences. And I think we are well prepared, for victory in 2023.
Governor Umahi is here to invite President Muhammadu Buhari for the inauguration of the newly constructed Ebonyi State Governor's Lodge in Abuja.
And when I say it's the best governor's lodge anywhere in this country, I mean it's the best governor's lodge anywhere in this country. It's quite befitting for Mr. President and Mr. President alone to be the one to commission it.
The Governor's Lodge, one of the legacy projects of the Umahi administration, is expected to be inaugurated in the middle of next month. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, a 10-member presidential committee on national economy has been constituted by the federal government towards addressing peculiar challenges being faced by Nigeria in response to global economic situation. State House correspondent Adamu Samba reports that President Muhammadu Buhari, who inaugurated the committee, described as unacceptable that tax revenues are only about 8% of the nation's output, and tasked members to respond more swiftly and efficiently so that delivery of most basic services can be enhanced.
With President Muhammadu Buhari as chairman, the Presidential Committee on the National Economy has the Vice President, representative of the Nigeria Governors Forum, Ministers of Finance, Industry, Trade and Investment, as well as the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources as members. Also on the high-powered committee are the Secretary to the Governor of the Federation, Chief of Staff to the President, Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, and the Chief Economic Advisor, who will serve as Secretary. President Muhammadu Buhari said although the nation's economy continues to grow despite the adverse effects of rising interest rates, a stronger United States dollar, and higher inflation across the world, the drastic cut in the oil production by about half the OPEC quota for Nigeria due to economic sabotage is not healthy.
While still concern about borrowing is well understood, our resort to borrowing must also be appreciated in the context of the resources required to deliver on the infrastructure, health, and other socio-economic needs of our students. It remains a major goal of this administration to continue pursuing the social protection programs. These programs provide support to the most vulnerable of our students.
Government, he also said, is not unaware about resource mobilization and utilization as well as fuel subsidies, saying, however, that his administration's objective remains to ensure that spending is efficient and result-oriented.
However, the right balance needs to be struck to ensure that as we protect our citizens, we do not leave room for inefficiencies and leakages. It is also important to ensure that our national investment environment is such that local and international private investors can be attracted and retained. This committee will provide our nation an opportunity to be bold, more proactive, and innovative to deliver on our most important objectives for the good of our people.
For the Chief Economic Advisor, Dr. Doin Salami, the task before the committee is to share collective appreciation of the challenges bedeviling the country and agree on approaches and policy measures towards addressing them.
Our job, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, is to redouble our efforts to ensure we can, in the time left for this administration, to achieve some of the more important goals that we have set ourselves, whilst at the same time understanding the global environment and its domestic impact.
The committee, comprising all policymakers responsible for the economy, is expected to report back to the President every month on progress achieved in dealing with the challenges confronting Nigeria. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Now let's talk nutrition. Efforts by the federal government to tackle malnutrition and its attendant challenges are beginning to take shape, says Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, just as nutrition-specific budget estimates are likely to be included in the 2023 appropriation bill. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo was speaking at a virtual meeting of the National Council on Nutrition. The council, with the approval of the President, has now ensured that nutrition departments now exist in several ministries, departments and agencies. The ministries include that of Health, Agriculture, Humanitarian Affairs, Women Affairs, Information and Culture, as well as Industry, Trade and Investment. Others are NAFDAC and the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency. Laulu Akonde, Senior Special Assistant to the President of Media and Publicity in the Office of the Vice President, in a press release noted that during the meeting, the Minister of Budget and National Planning and the Nigerian Governors Forum made presentations on the implementation of the National Multi-Sectoral Plan of Action on Nutrition, particularly on the funding of nutrition activities in the country. The Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority wishes to provide content to media reports on the 2022 average daily truck out of petroleum motor spirit. The federal government medium-term expenditure and revenue framework is a 3-year forward-looking budgetary tool which comprising contributions from various agencies. The authority and its legacy agencies annually provide truck-out forecast for the planning purpose. The authority, during a recent interactive session with the House of Representatives Committee on Finance, quoted 62.9 million litres as the 2022 baseline daily truck-out projection. For clarity, the figure provided was used in 2021 solely to forecast the expected revenue for 2022 and does not in any way translate to the actual truck-out volume for this year. In line with the NMDPRA mandate as provided in the Petroleum Industry Act to ensure transparency in the oil and gas industry, the authority publishes on its website the actual daily truck out can be verified from the website. The actual daily truck out from 1st January to 31st July 2022 stands at about 66 million litres. Let's talk arts. The world's biggest broadcast exhibition and conference is underway in Amsterdam in the Netherlands, with Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed leading the Nigerian delegation to the conference. Anthony Forson reports.
Known as the most popular and well-attended content and technology event, which brings together exhibitors, speakers, visitors, and the entire community engaged in broadcasting, it offers an opportunity for business engagements as well as unlock business opportunities. Participants will also discover latest innovations and explore the exciting world of content. Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed on arrival attended some of the panel sessions where professionals discussed some of the latest technologies and modern broadcast strategies for the future.
With content, with equipment, with satellite. The biggest market for media entertainment. And it depends on exactly one's interest.
Expressing satisfaction with what the conference is showcasing at this 2022 edition, Lai Mohammed said Nigeria is on the right path, particularly with the ongoing DSO project.
Because be it DSO, be it our content, be it our television industry, be it our radio industry, advertising, it's the whole of, I mean, it's the whole internet industry that's going to be the major beneficiary of this matter.
In Amsterdam, the Netherlands, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
Meanwhile, as the largest television network in Africa, the management of the organization says it is repositioning ahead of the forthcoming general elections to enable it play a major role for the success of the elections and beyond. The acting Director General of the NTA, Abdul Hamid Dembos, discussed this at an interview with Anthony Forson at the ongoing International Broadcast Conference in Amsterdam, Netherlands.
Acting Director General, accompanied by the Executive Director News, Mohamed Lebbo, Executive Director Programs, Wale Koka, and Executive Director Engineering, Moses Opanachi, are in Amsterdam to attend this year's International Broadcast Conference. Acting Director General and the Executive Directors met with the Information and Culture Minister. With about 70,000 television professionals, video and digital film specialists, as well as television managers, converged here at RITE for this annual exhibition of equipment and conference about new trends, business ideas and technology solutions. The Acting Director General of the NTA says the largest TV network in Africa cannot afford to be left behind.
For us from the NTA, it's very, very rewarding because the election is fast approaching, and just like we have told Nigerians that the last outing of our election coverage was very good, but we want to make this one much even better. So we are now getting exposed to the new technologies, and we want to deploy them so that we can give Nigerians the best coverage of our elections and all other programs and what we have.
Big in style, well-coordinated crowd control, perfect organization. This annual event is a must attend for every professional. From Amsterdam in the Netherlands, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
And from Amsterdam, we take you to Lagos, where Adeola is standing by with some reports for us. Hello, Adeola.
Hello, Elizabeth. The Nigerian Army Education Corps, Yaba, can now boast of a comfortable house for officers and a fully equipped hall of fame. Annie Daniels reports that the Chief of Army Staff unveiled the project in Lagos with a promise to do more.
In Yaba played host to the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant Colonel Farouk Yahaya, with past and present senior officers on ground to welcome him. The essence of this visit is to inaugurate notable projects here at the Nigerian Army Education Corps, Lagos. Among projects inaugurated by the Chief of Army Staff include this Hall of Fame, a library and collection of portraits of past Corps commanders, and the Nayek House, all well equipped.
Which is the official residence of Corps Commander Education. Hitherto, he doesn't have a befitting accommodation for a commander of his status, but now you can see today it is commissioned. And this work goes across all other army formations and units, all of them, improvement, construction of new places, in order to enhance our comfort so that we can very effectively conduct and do our job very well.
The multi-million naira projects were completed by the Corps Commander, Major General Muhammad Lawal Algi.
We realize that one of the major problems we have in the country, not only in the army, is the maintenance culture. And we have talked, especially before this time, that we have done this thing and everybody that comes must maintain the aesthetics that he made in the house. And I believe we'll do that.
With projects like these ones spread across the country, the Nigerian Army will remain a credible and strong defender of Nigeria and her citizens. In Lagos, Annie Daniels, NTA News.
Now talking politics. As politicking for the 2023 general elections gathers momentum, Minister of Works and Housing Babatunde Fashola has tasked Nigerians to leverage on the Electoral Act to vote in credible candidates that will work for the development of the country. The minister stated this in Lagos while delivering a lecture on the 2023 election and the future of democracy in Nigeria.
In a couple of months, Nigerians will go to the polls. The people will elect new leaders across the nation and for the nation. It is not surprising, therefore, that the hall was full to capacity, with the audience listening with rapt attention to the discussion on the 2023 election. Highlighting some of the gains of democracy since 1999, Minister of Works and Housing Babatunde Fashola said the country has fared relatively well despite the many challenges confronting the nation. The minister believes that the upcoming election provides another opportunity for Nigerians to take a critical look at the candidates who have the competence to effectively govern the country.
Did we vote for or did we collect tricycles? Did we collect sewing machines? Did we collect generators? If we did, can we legitimately expect that the budget from which these things were procured will also provide health care, will also provide drugs, and diagnostic equipment in our facilities?
The panel of discussants identified vote buying, failed campaign promises, and issue-based campaigns as determining factors in the minds of the voters ahead of the 2023 election.
I advocate for people-oriented change and peaceful restructuring of the current federal system to develop power and responsibility to establish which will in turn offer better opportunity for stability and unity.
The body of governance and this time to very challenging after the elections. The reason is that managing the expectation of Nigerian people is not to be a walk in the back.
The need for Nigerians to demonstrate restraint in condemning the country before the international community was also part of discussions at the forum. In Lagos, Ruth Ariel Samuel, NTA News.
Those are the stories from the Center of Excellence, but do not forget that you can still follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on your screen for updates. The network news will continue after this time out. To stay on.
Thanks for staying with the NTA. Next, some business news, and Musa Abubakar will be our guide. So, Musa, what's trending?
Well, thank you, Elizabeth. We'll look at the energy market. Well, oil prices rose over 3% on Friday, supported by real and threatened cuts to supply, although futures were set for a second weekly decline as aggressive interest rate hikes and China's COVID-19 curbs weigh on the demand outlook. CNBC reports that Russian President Vladimir Putin has threatened to halt oil and gas exports to Europe if price caps are imposed, and a small cut to OPEC Plus oil output plans announced this week also supported prices. Brent crude rose 3.7% to $92.45 a barrel. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude futures rose 3.7% to $86.65 a barrel. Into capital market, the equities market closed Friday traded session on a bullish note. The NGX all-share index gained 0.09% at 49,695.12 basis point. Market capitalization advanced to 26.8 trillion naira. 319 million shares valued at 1.8 billion naira were traded in 3,335 deals. Sterling Bank, UBA and Zenith Bank were the most active shares at the end of the session. Well, that's it. The news continues with Elizabeth.
Thank you, Musa. We'll take our last break now. We'll be right back. Glad to know you're still there. Veteran broadcaster Timaeus Matthias has passed on at the age of 73 after a brief illness. The Adamawa State-born started out as a broadcaster with the Nigerian Television Authority NTA Yola before going into private practice in the media space, spanning over 5 decades. And that's the network news. Thank you so much for watching. Do remember to always join the campaign against rape and rapists. I'm Elizabeth Omori. Thank you so much for your time.